if something goes wrong, if a girl has a question, if a part breaks, and things like that, and we'll just go over costs and safety concerns. Okay, for the theme, in order to make it for electronics may be interesting for the older kids, but I feel that the younger kids may have a slight difficulty getting interested. So what we did is we tried to create a cute theme with our mascot, Lenny the Light Bulb. And so in order to make it kid-friendly and relevant, we have just a very brief story that Lenny the Light Bulb and his friends are bored and they want some new circuits for him and his friends to play on. So he's requesting the kids' help to help him build those circuits. And so the room can be decorated with electronical circuitry, like lightning bolts, and of course the lab mascot, Lenny. So just something to get the kids maybe a little interested in what's going
on. Our word track, has the day of the lab instructions for the instructor. But to begin with, it gives the instructors and lab assistants an overview similar to what we're talking about right now. In addition to the parts list, what the lab instructor should see there in the lab, and then some suggested reading for them to see before the lab. It's basically just explanation in more detail of what snap circuits are and a little bit of the electronics. So even if they don't have any experience, they should be able to relatively quickly be able to do the lab well. The other thing is, as Dave said, the snap circuit kits can be modified or can be used for many projects. So if in testing the lab runs short or lab runs long, we can very easily change which projects we're doing.
All right. And for activity directions, after the initial lecture portion, as Kevin was saying in the beginning, there's going to be the hands-on portion of the lab. We're hoping that the lecture portion should take no more than 20 minutes. That way the kids don't lose interest and they're, becoming bored. And so after the lecture portion, lab assistants and the instructors will, like you said, kind of semi-walk through each project with the kids. So we're hoping that there's maybe 4 to 5 tables per classroom with about 4 to 5 girls each, and then each table should have a dedicated assistant or lab instructor. That way they can make sure that the girls are putting things together right, putting them, most importantly, putting them together safely so that no one gets hurt or anything like that, and to make sure that they're having a good time and they're not just getting frustrated. All right, also time at the end will be given for questions and feedback, so if any of the girls are confused, there's definitely going to be a lot of time for questions, as well as we're going to make sure everyone's on the same page at the end of each activity, so we're not moving on and leaving any of the girls confused when we move on to the next activity. All right, so this is our first project. I'll let Kevin explain this. He was the main creative force in picking out the projects.
This one is supposed to be an introduction to electronics and an introduction to using the snap circuit system. So, it's pretty simple. They're making an LED light, which is right here, and that will be explained to them what that will look like. And you have the batteries, you have the switch, and you have the resistor, which will be explained to make it so the light isn't damaged. And that one should take maybe 2 or 3 minutes. If they need longer, the lab assistant can help, because the concept of it may be difficult for some kids. We tried to cover that in the lab, but hopefully they'll get it.
And in addition to the lab instructors walking them through, there is a printed handout that each table or group of girls will be given. It has this picture and it has written directions for them to follow that basically states, if you can see the little one here, the ones labeled with the black one is what goes down first, and then the ones labeled with the 2 you snap on top. So it tells what order to put things in and how it should work. They have this picture so they can see how it'll look, and every color you see here corresponds to the actual color that's on the actual pieces itself. So hopefully we try to eliminate as much frustration with this as possible while still giving them good education on it and allowing them to have fun.
Just to add to that a little bit, the first project should serve as a verification of what they've learned in the lecture, which hopefully they'll be interested in that, so they can actually see it. Anyway, same project, a lot more fun. What they're doing is this is a motor, and the motor has what looks like a little plastic fan that spins on the top. And the lab assistants will attach a thin piece of cardboard And then the girls can draw patterns on the white paper, and there are suggestions in there to make kind of like whatever psychedelic things go on. And each girl in the group should be able to draw or whatever she wants to do. So they can all have an opportunity to contribute. And again, we're introducing new components at each lab, and for this one it is the motor itself.
Okay. For our third project.
Our third project is exciting from computer science perspective. If you don't know, we're making an AND gate, which is used a lot in computer hardware and which makes computers run. It should be fun for them too, because for this example, we're using this cool little snap circuits thing that makes music. So that will keep them entertained. The idea is that these two switches here will serve as the AND gate, which takes two inputs, and if both of the inputs are on, then it will output on as well. And if one or the other is not on, it will not output anything. And the lab instructor will explain this hopefully very clearly in our word track. The AND component, just as a side, you can pretty simply make it into like a calculator and so forth. So it's a building block. Just in addition, there is, oh yeah, the speaker's right there. In addition, girls who finish early, we have a short thing that should let them experiment some, that asks them to see if they can add an LED light to this, just like in the first lab. And hopefully some girls will get it, and if they don't and we have extra time, the lab assistants can help them with it. Also, after project 3, if it is too short, we can insert it into the lab pretty easily.
And now, as far as safety concerns go, the overall safety concern we believe is low. There's a small parts hazard, but at that age we're not thinking anybody's going to But regardless, they'll be under supervision.
You never know with some of those girls.
Other than that, as with any electronics project, supervision must be taken to ensure that nothing is short-circuited, no sparks, anything like that. Students are instructed to keep hands away from the spinning motor, and it is only powered by 2 AA batteries, so they're not working in any like high voltage situations here. In addition to that, to make sure that everything is good before they insert the batteries on the directions, it does state, please have your project checked by a lab instructor or assistant before you put the batteries in, just so they can verify that everything's okay, and that to make sure the kids have a fun time and no one gets hurt.
Also, we have troubleshooting. There's 3 main points for troubleshooting the lab. All the lab assistant and instructors should have these. And again, this is what the lab assistants have, so it's pretty basic and simple to understand. We have 2 full kits that are in case something gets damaged. The snap circuit should be relatively resilient to pretty much anything the girls can possibly do to it by accident, but still have extras. As Dave said, if they have a short circuit, the lab assistant should prevent them from doing that. And also, again, the lab assistant should help with any frustrations they have.
Okay. And then as far as cost goes, cost and other needs for this lab, we were thinking about 12 snap circuits junior kits. That would leave, we'd have about 5 per room with 2 left over for spare parts. They're $20.55 each. We found that on Amazon.com. And batteries are also going to be needed. A 100-count pack of batteries would be $33.50. And then electronics examples, old PC components, like he was saying, to pass around the room, should be less than $100, or those would be very easy to get donated or something along those lines. Other than that, just
we have plenty.
Okay.
Sure we do, yeah.
Other than that, just some thin cardboard, like a notebook cover or a mac and cheese box, cereal box, something like that, for the spin draw project, so they can put it on the fan. And then a package of white paper to also make the white paper disc that they're actually going to be drawing on for that project. And so the total for the entire lab should be about $430.10 plus tax and shipping. And then other needs, of course, at least 1 lab assistant for each group of girls, so roughly 4 or 5 per lab.
And in addition, you're left over with the kits at the end of the lab, so those can be either be carried over the next year or donated somewhere or whatever you guys feel would be best.
Just one quick question. With the costs, is that per classroom?
No,
Or
that's
for all
total.
three
That's total.
classrooms? Okay.
All three, yeah. And that is that, thank you. If you, what we can do is kind of show you a brief, do you have the word track up then?
It should be in
Okay.
And then just to give you a little bit of a preview of the word track, we have the lab overview with the lab objectives, and we also have the